The roulette wheel is the purest form of gambling we have. It is paradoxically a perfectly fair game. The house always maintains a slight mathematical edge, sure, but literally no one knows exactly where that ball is going to land. The physics are entirely unpredictable. Now look at prediction markets, multi-billion-dollar platforms like Polymarket, Kalshi, and PredictIt. Here, users buy yes or no shares on real-world events, ranging from presidential elections to corporate firings. This visualization shows how the core mechanic of these platforms works. The share price dictates the perceived probability. If a yes share costs 67 cents, the platform is telling you there is a 67% chance that specific event will occur. These platforms market themselves aggressively. They do not pitch themselves as digital casinos. They frame their operations as legitimate financial products and sophisticated forecasting tools for savvy traders. But unlike a casino, where the future is completely blank, prediction markets deal in events where someone out there already knows the outcome. The game is asymmetrical, heavily rigged against the everyday user. Academics refer to this branding strategy as terminological washing. It is the deliberate practice of renaming speculative, high-risk betting so that it sounds like calculated investing. Platforms use heavy gamification, UI tricks, and rebranded financial jargon to lure retail users into a false sense of security. They hit your phone with aggressive push notifications and design their interfaces to purposefully hide actual financial risks, keeping your focus entirely on potential gains. These calculated design choices successfully manipulate everyday users into viewing themselves as intelligent investors rather than vulnerable gamblers playing against a stacked deck. The entire industry relies on a concept called the wisdom of crowds. This is the theory that a massive group of people betting their own money will collectively arrive at a highly accurate, perfect price. The reality is much darker, starting with rampant insider trading. Traders have made massive, sudden profits betting against Iranian Ayatollah Ali Khamenei just hours before classified military strikes took place. The Department of Justice recently charged a U.S. soldier who used highly classified military intelligence to win bets on global events, including the geopolitical status of Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro. Politicians and government bureaucrats are doing it too. Officials have been caught placing unusually profitable wagers on the exact public policies they personally influence. Even without classified leaks, these platforms are dominated by whales, massive accounts holding enormous amounts of capital. Because many of these markets are actually quite thin, a whale can dump millions into a contract and completely shift the odds, regardless of the actual reality on the ground. This chart compares prediction accuracy across platforms during the 2024 election. While PredictIt correctly called outcomes 93% of the time, the multi-billion-dollar markets on Polymarket were right only 67% of the time. The data revealed negative autocorrelation and massive late-stage arbitrage. The prices were bouncing around wildly and inefficiently in the final weeks, entirely disproving the myth of a perfectly rational market. Instead of collective wisdom, the data suggests a lopsided environment where a few whales control the direction, while everyday traders unknowingly provide the exit liquidity for their trades. The danger scales up dramatically when these numbers leave the platform. Researchers call this next phase prediction laundering. This is a socio-technical process where highly manipulated, insider-driven bets are scrubbed of their original, dirty context by the platform. What comes out the other end is a clean, authoritative-looking percentage. Mainstream news networks grab laundered odds and broadcast them to the public as objective, statistical truth. This creates an immediate vulnerability. Foreign adversaries can drop capital into a specific market, artificially skew the odds, watch the American media report on it as fact, and successfully degrade democratic resilience. Financial analysts have pointed to the dark moral hazard in contracts tied to California wildfires. Because the payout is linked to a specific, human-controllable outcome like a containment date, the market creates a theoretical profit margin for arson. These platforms have moved past merely forecasting the news. By turning future catastrophes into tradable assets, they are actively manufacturing the very reality they claim to predict. When you walk into a casino and bet on black, you might lose your money, but you are only losing to the laws of physics. When you log into a prediction market, you are losing to politicians, capital whales, and insiders who already hold tomorrow's newspaper. Reject the corporate fantasy that these are safe financial products. Recognize them for what they are: an unregulated, asymmetric Shark Tank where you participate strictly at your own risk.